Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar co-hosted by Uncdf and EcoBank Ghana to commemorate International Youth Day and to share best practices on youth finance as driver of youth empowerment. We will start shortly. Thank you. It's 1:03 and we can start. I see participants are joining. So thank you for your participation and welcome again to this webinar on the International Youth Day. My name is Arianna Gasparri and I work for UNCDF and I have the honor to moderate this panel. But first, let me start with an introduction on International Youth Day and why we are having this webinar. International Youth Day is celebrated annually on August 12th to bring the youth issues to the attention of a global audience and to celebrate the potential of youth as active partners in the global society. We are here today with partners and youth advocates from UNCDF, EcoBank Ghana and SMV to discuss and showcase best practices when it comes to youth financial inclusion, which is one of the challenges that youth face in their journey towards economic independence. Specifically, I invite you to use your social media and tag all the organization that you see on this slide using the international hashtag for International Youth Day, which is IYD 2021. We decided to hold this webinar to bring some light on, again, one of the challenges that youth face, which is financial exclusion, which is interlinked with employment. Indeed, the youth employment crisis is a global development priority. The youth demographic bulge represents 3 billion people under the age of 25. With 1 billion young people aged between 15 and 24. The high youth unemployment rate, a significant proportion of the working poor in vulnerable employment, and the high level of economic disengagement together can create disaffection, drive migration, and incite social unrest, and slow progress towards development goals. In Africa, 3 out of 5 young people are unemployed. And in Southeast Asia and the Pacific, the youth unemployment rate is 6 times the one of adults. Available data suggests that even during periods of economic growth, many economies have failed to absorb large population in their labor markets and have hence fall short in translating economic growth into greater economic opportunities for youth. And especially with the pandemic that has affected the world globally, the outlook is even worse. In this context, access to financial assets and resources is gaining attention as a key contributing factor for youth economic empowerment. So there is a urgent need for sustainable model to build the youth empowerment. I see, I see people raising hands. You can use the Q&A session to interact with the panelists. So we need, as I was saying, we need sustainable models in order to build youth empowerment, in particular for young women, to successfully navigate the school to work transition, and adopting a capability approach to strengthen their capacity. In Ghana, UNCDF and EcoBank and other partners such as SMB are working together to ensure fair access to financial services for those youth that are usually excluded from the financial ecosystem. This is happening under the Boosting Green Employment and Enterprise Opportunity in Ghana, the Green Project, which is funded by the European Union under the EU Trust Fund for Africa. Under this framework, UNCDF is supporting financial providers like the Youth Banking Department of EcoBank Ghana to bring its youth offering to the last mile and help young people in their journey towards economic development. On this special day, on International Youth Day, we want to give you the opportunity to learn more about our best practices, our learnings, and how we intend to support youth. And since it's an initiative for youth first, we have today also 2 youth ambassadors that will share their experience and will inspire us all. As you see here, we have a very exciting panelists. I'm very excited to host this webinar with these speakers. We have David LaRue from UNCDF Regional Office in Dakar. We have our UNCDF ambassador, I will say, Harry from the Youth Banking Department of EcoBank Ghana. We have then Genevieve Parker-Chum, Senior Incubation and Acceleration Advisor for SMB. And the 2 youth testimonials that have accepted to join us today, Beryl and Peter from Eco House and colleagues. Welcome and thank you for accepting this invite. We will soon start with the discussion with the speakers, but before going to the discussion, I would like to interact with the audience with some polls and test your knowledge when it comes to youth challenges. Okay. So I think you can see one of the first questions on your screen and you can answer. So what is the proportion of young girls not in employment, education, or trainings? I will end the poll. And we have as the highest number of responses under 30%, which is the correct answer. So 30% of young ladies globally are not in employment, education, or training. And then last poll before we go to our speakers, it's about financial exclusion. What is the rate of financial exclusion meant as no account at financial institution for young adults in Ghana? I give you a few seconds to answer. As you see from the results, we have 50% of respondents said 71%, which is the correct answer. In Ghana, according to World Bank Findex, 71% of young adults below 24 do not have a bank account at a financial institution. So without further ado, I would like to go to my speakers and hear from them their experience. I would like to start with Beryl. Beryl, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Welcome and thank you again for accepting the invite. We are very glad to have you with us. Beryl is the CEO of Echo House, and today she will share with us her experience. I have a question for you, Beryl. On this International Youth Day 2021, you represent a success story and you can inspire many young people like you that are listening today. Can you please share your experience and maybe tell us how you have approached the financial ecosystem in your in developing your business and how the financial services have helped you grow with your business?
Okay, so hi everybody. It's very nice to be on this panel. I'm hoping that the conversations we have will be inspiring and will help us all to take action, you know. So, I mean, basically Echo House started in 2008, actually, as a campus magazine. I was in KNUST at the time. KNUST is one of Ghana's best universities. I was reading civil engineering and I wanted to start a magazine that will tell the story of KNUST to the world. So we did that for a bit and then eventually we got into digital marketing where a couple of brands also, you know, gave us the opportunity to manage their social media and digital presence. I mean, over the years, since 2008, we have grown into a full-scale marketing agency. And so today we have 5 main departments. We have Digits, which runs basically digital marketing, creative marketing for almost about 20 brands in Ghana. We have a BTL, events department. We have an influencer marketing department. We have a video photo production unit, and then Cool Peeps. I think that because of what we do and what we stand for, we have been very keen to find a partner who will help us to bridge this gap when it comes to digital finance and all of that. So I'll give an example of a couple of the events that we do. So we have something we call Tidal Rave, we have something we call Fresh Affair, and then even Social Media Week. And so Ecobank came in at a point when we had done a couple of these events for a while, and we were looking for a way to do it at scale. Because, for example, whenever we were about to do an event like Tidal Rave, you would have to go and leave physical tickets in vantage points. And what I mean by that, you'd select a couple of shops, maybe at the mall, and then different places on campus and stuff where you leave tickets, and the students were supposed to go and buy these tickets, and you were supposed to hope that when you go back for your money, it's all intact and everything. But once we partnered with Ecobank, what they did was that they gave us this really huge opportunity with sponsorship, and then also you could buy all the ticket events on their app. And that, for us, completely turned things around, because all of a sudden, no matter where you were, you could buy a ticket. In the past, we had events where on the day the tickets are done and then you were going to come, you didn't have access to a ticket. But wherever you were, whether you're in Tamale or wherever it is, you just needed to sign up for an account, and then you were going to buy a ticket at a discount. And I think the best part for me was that we had these what we call tidal rave markets, freshman fair markets, and all these vendors, and we're talking sometimes 100 vendors at a time, 50 vendors at a time. We got to sign them all up, and then at the events they could just all their sales they could do through the app, and you can imagine the convenience of that. That changed the event for us completely. So we've gotten to the point where even in terms of creation, where we are thinking of something we want to do, we're able to sit with the Ecobank team and say, this is what we are thinking. What solution do you have amongst like the myriad of solutions that you have that can fix this one for us? It's really been extremely helpful to us. It's turned things around for us. I think that if a lot more businesses, especially businesses that are being run by young people, could have access to this, because almost all our audience have, they understand this technology, they're able to use it very easily. I think that it's something that everybody would love to use for their business once they have access to it. And then I think the great part of it is also the fact that once the event was done, most of these vendors that we are signed on continue to use it, because it was so convenient, so easy to use. It's something that we are very excited about. They have helped us to turn a lot of our events around through digital technology and digital finance. Yeah. So I don't know, is that?
Yes, thank you very much, Beryl. Thank you, very interesting. Very interesting. Thank you very much. And thank you for putting the bar high for this discussion. Your story is very inspiring, and I invite all the youth out there that are also participating to this webinar to ask any question through the Q&A modality, and we'll be able to answer all the questions at the end of the discussion with the speakers with a dedicated Q&A session. Thank you again, Beryl. I'll come back to you later. So we understand, I think Beryl actually explain how important it is to have like a financial partner that is able to respond to the needs of these young people and young entrepreneurs. And I believe that we, in terms of also development partners, such as indeed UNCDF, there is a need to support those financial providers such as EcoBank that has a clear vision to support youth to actually find a successful business model to be tested and to de-risk the initial investments that these institutions have when they want to serve these youth segment. And for that, I would like to hear from David from UNCDF Regional Office for West Africa. Indeed, we know that UNCDF is among the few development partners that have invested a lot in youth finance, at least in the last decade. David, can you maybe please share with the audience the experience of UNCDF in this regard and the role of such agency in supporting both supply and demand side of financial services to allow youth like Beryl to access financial services?
Thank you, Ariana. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be with you today. So I will start answering your question, Ariana, by saying that we, as UNCDF, first of all, focus on youth. And what it means is that we need to understand who are they. And next. Yeah, so what is important for us is to understand what are the expectations, the need, the capacity, and the future of the youth in the country we are working in, to be able to see exactly what they are using as financial services right now, and what is their understanding of the financial services they use. The other thing that is important, next, is to understand what is their current situation. Are they students? Are they employees, entrepreneurs? Where do they live? What is their family status? Because all of these aspects will impact what are their needs and what type of services they will use. If we take the example of Beryl, who just spoke now, for instance, she didn't know how to reach her customer. So the financial service helped her to reach her customer. But if we don't know exactly what are the needs of youth, we can't really adapt the product and the services to this target. And we can't really help them to get better access to financial opportunities, to economic opportunities, and to independence. Next. And around youth, you have all this range of financial services available, being investment, payment services, like Beryl mentioned in her intervention, saving products, credit, insurance products. They are all financial services that might be available for youth, but we see that there is a big gap. This is a white space. There is a big gap between these financial services and the youth. And as you mentioned earlier, Ariana, a lot of young people don't have access because most of them don't even know that these services are available. So next. So this is what UNCDF is doing, is to try to fill the gap between youth and financial services. And we do it in 3 different ways, let's say. First of all, it's important that information is flowing between youth and financial services provider. As Beryl mentioned, she would like more people to know, more young entrepreneurs to know that one bank can provide services to reach customers, because she was struggling with that before. This type of information about the type of services available in the country is very important. And on the other side, the banks, they need more information about what are the capacity and who are the young people, because there are very different type of young people and their needs are very different. So bridging this information gap between financial sector and youth is one of the key aspects of UNCDF work. Aside from that, what is really important as well is to get youth closer to the financial sector. And this is why we do financial education and empowerment, because youth need to know what type of service is available, how to use them, and how they can benefit from it. So this is done through financial education, or it can be done through information sharing as well. And on the other side, the financial service provider, they should better know who the youth are. And this can be done through studies. So UNCDF can support financial service provider like EcoBank to run studies about different segments, different type of youth in country. And this study will help them to better adapt and create new services so that they can serve better the young and understand more the risk that it represents to provide investment or credit to youth. The fact that information and understanding who the youth are is really one of the best ways to decrease the risk to lend to young people. And next, I will illustrate that by providing an example of what we do in Guinea. So next. So first of all, as I mentioned, we improve skills of young people by doing financial education. Next. There is a big component in what we do in Guinea that's a bit similar to what we do in Ghana. We support financial institutions, as Ariana mentioned, and we do it in different ways. First of all, we did a study with them about youth and about young entrepreneurs in Guinea, and we adapted the saving and the credit product to these young people. So all the barriers that existed before for young people to have access to credit are lifted. And we start to see the benefit of this because now more than 50 young entrepreneurs were able to finance their activity and be more independent. And there is one thing interesting about Guinea, that we also provide innovation to these two microfinance institutions. One will be benefiting to banks. It's a psychometric test. The psychometric test is a way to improve information the financial institution is getting from a young person that might be not included yet in the financial sector. And getting more information is the key to de-risk and the credit for young people. So psychometric test is an innovation that will help banks to make decisions about credit. And on the other hand, we develop also bank-to-wallet services. It's an innovation that will improve the service the bank is able to provide to young people by improving the type of payment, the type of transfer they can do from their account. So you see here that innovation can help bank, but also help youth. And then there's something I didn't mention before, but we work on two layers that are infrastructure and regulation. You can click next, and the other one as well. Yeah. And the work UNCDF is doing here is to make sure that there is an enabling environment so that all the work we mentioned before is possible. You cannot do innovation, you cannot do financial education if people don't have basic access to a phone, to internet connection, to even phone coverage, network. So all this infrastructure component is a key part of financial financial inclusion, sorry. And regulation as well is a key part of this, because without regulation, there is nothing that will protect young people from fraud, from cyber criminality, and there will be a lot of risk for the economy of a country as well. So working on these two components enables the work we do in skills development and innovation. Next. And this is just to give you some figures about what we achieved for the last 10 years for youth in West Africa. So we work in 5 countries that you can see on the screen. We partnered with 12 financial institutions, such as EcoBank in Ghana. And thanks to the support we provided, they were able to provide better services, innovating services to more than 3.2 million customers across West Africa. But specifically, Uncdf programs, such as the Green Program in Ghana, reached more than 12 million youth, young adults, who get access to an account and get access to financial services to be better connected to the economy and to exploit opportunities that it represents. And all these 12,000 people were able to save more than 1.7 million USD. So you see that this figure really represents what is possible to achieve if we connect youth to the financial sector. And I was really happy to hear Beryl's testimony about the payment facility she got access to, because we sometimes focus only on how do I get access to finance when we speak about financial inclusion. But all the services that can be provided around this, especially payment services, are really, really important for business development and for people to have access to new economic opportunities. I will stop here. I hope I was clear. I will be available for questions at the end of the session. Thank you.
Thank you, David. It was very clear, and he gave us a snapshot on how UNCDF can support the supply side of the equation. But now let's move to a clear example on the ground from the provider side. Henry, please, can you? Yes. So can you hear us? Yes. So yes, Henry, you are the head of the youth banking department for EcoBank Ghana, and I would say one of the UNCDF ambassadors who knows a lot about the approach that we want to deploy. I believe that having a dedicated department for youth banking is a clear commitment, right, from EcoBank to serve and target the youth segment. I would like to hear from you, and if you can please share with the audience how EcoBank is targeting youth and why. What do you see? I mean, what is the vision behind? And what is the value proposition that EcoBank is proposing to meet the needs of these young people?
Okay, thank you very much, Raina, for your question. And I must say good afternoon to everyone on this webinar. My name is Henry Boy, and I lead the youth banking business at EcoBank Ghana PLC. Greetings from management and staff of the entire EcoBank family. Let me start with this, that as at 1st July 2020, it was projected that the African population is around 1.34 million. Out of this 1.34 million, it's said that 60% of them are young people. And by 2030, 42%, there'll be a 42% increase with this population. To actually bring it home to Ghana, the youth segment or the young population is somewhere around 57%. And that makes Ghana actually, having a young age structure. If we look at the 57% of the 30 million of these Ghanaians, it looks like we have quite a number of people who are young people. As young people grow older, they become obviously wealthier and require financing for life projects such as their home mortgages, education loan, access to buy their first car, or a loan to buy their first car, or even grow their businesses like Beryl shared. Since customers also stay with their first bank, it was therefore important that as a bank, we forge relationship with young customers by developing products and services to suit their needs and extend to their respective life cycle. With this said, it was therefore imperative that as a bank, we put in measures to grow tomorrow's customers today. And in 2017, Ecobank Ghana started the youth banking unit, which sought to grow young customers into a profitable adult cohort for the future. We transitioned young people from the junior savers, which is from the age of 0 to 12, the rise, which is 13 to 17, and eventually youth. Beyond this, we have the various segments that are classic banking, advantage banking, and premier banking, which we transition young people into based on their pockets, if I must say. Now, over the years, we have spearheaded the financial inclusion agenda of the country. Young people have been involved in various ways to get them educated on our savings and investments products, with programs such as our Digi Clinic, social media campaigns, campus digitization project, freshers orientation, and some graduate exit programs, all in our efforts to ensure that these customers really are helped in making smart financial decisions. The COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the dire need for the kind of transformational changes that banking has to go through with, I must say, minimum human interface. And Ecobank is at the forefront of this digital transformation with promoting of the self-service, which I know the youth so much admire. Our Express account, which is a zero fee and interest-bearing account, has also made it easier for young people all over the country to actually open accounts without so many documentation. Hitherto, you need a lot of documentation like utility bill, a lot of them, you know them, and it was quite difficult for a young person to open a bank account. Now, all you need is a registered SIM card, a smartphone, or even a feature phone, and you are good to go to get an account with us at the comfort of your home without coming to the banking hall. To also facilitate payment, we've made available our debit cards, which is contacts and contactless. We also have what we call the prepaid cards, which are also both virtual and physical. And now mobile app, I'm happy Beryl shared experience with the mobile app. It's actually positioned as a lifestyle app with extraordinary features, I must say, to help everybody perform certain basic financial transactions and also be able to perform certain things that are not necessarily financial, like buying of tickets, like Beryl said. And since 2016, we've had over 1 million downloads of our mobile app on both the Google Play Store and the App Store. Again, our Young Ambassadorship Project, an initiative to prepare students for the job market and also, help them or partner with them to be ambassadors on our behalf, has trained over 100 young people across the country. And this partnership, it actually helped us with training them for the job market, I said, which is most important, and also creating awareness and acquiring customers on our digital platforms, on university campuses, at marketplaces, at religious places, all to promote financial literacy and in the country and wherever these young people find themselves. Now, to move on, you also realize that as a bank, it is also important that we look at certain partnerships that will also help us to reach the underserved in communities. For instance, this great partnership with Uncdf under the Green Project has helped us reach people in rural areas where hitherto we wouldn't have gone. We've been able to visit a lot of MMDs that on our radar eventually would have reached there, but the Uncdf partnership has actually facilitated and made this possible for all of us to be able to achieve this objective. And I must say thank you so much to the Uncdf team for this great partnership that they've given to us. Moving on to, I must also say that we have what we call the Evolution account, an account dedicated for the young entrepreneur. It's important that as a bank, we support young entrepreneurs. We give them some financial training. We create platforms where they can sell their goods and services. We also ensure that we also give them account that do not come with a lot of charges, because these are startup and they will need support from a bank, and eventually give them access to some credits to be able to, finance their businesses. And one key thing, which I know some of you are already even taking, is our express loan on the MTN menu, which is really helping young people to, boost their businesses or help get finances to support their respective businesses. This loan is available to anybody. You can actually go on the MTN menu, *170#, and you should be able to access that express loan as well. All in all, I must say EcoBank is really leading the agenda for this, not just students, like I mentioned earlier. It shouldn't be just students, it should be people in school, people out of school. We are really dedicated to support young people in whatever way we can as a bank. And I believe that this initiative taken by us will eventually help us to grow our tomorrow's customers today. And in all, I'm also intrigued that anybody on this call who hasn't been a beneficiary of any of our digital offering, today is the day. Let's take that bold step to visit the Play Store or App Store and then know the EcoBank mobile. I know, Arina, that was the first account you got when you got to Ghana, and I know you're excited about using it. And those who have already done it, try and encourage other people to actually hook onto it and be able to also benefit from this as well. So I would like to also bring my notes here and my presentation here, just sharing with you what we've done and what we hope to do in future. And I look forward to more of these partnerships. We hope that next year, International Youth Day, you will also partner with us again, because this is the first of its kind in Ghana where a bank is partnering with Uncdf, and we are very, very excited about this offering. So thank you very much for your attention, and I'll take any questions from the floor if need be. Thank you.
Thank you, Harry. I think, thank you very much for your intervention. I think you mentioned that EcoBank wants to grow young savers into profitable adult clients. And I think this is the right move also from the financial institution perspective. To offer adapted solution at each life cycle stage of the client. Because as you rightly said, if they choose you at early stages, they will stay with you even later on. Thank you very much for that. I'll come back to you later to know maybe more about what you learned from the rural areas, right? And how this has informed your work. But before that, let me go to our testimonial, the youth ambassador that have joined us today. Peter, welcome to this webinar, and thank you very much for your participation. Since today, again, it's International Youth Day, we want this webinar to be for youth first. So we want to voice your stories, and we want to give you the opportunity also to inspire other youth that might be connected. I have a question for you. We have heard from development agencies like Uncdf, from Henry, from EcoBank, but now I would like to hear like your story, right? It seems that they have the willingness to serve youth and young entrepreneurs with a full range of products. What is your experience when it comes to access to financial services, which doesn't mean necessarily credit, but as we outlined, like payments, insurance, and others. Can you please share your experience, how you succeeded, and what is your take from this discussion?
Okay, thank you very much, Ariana. Thank you for the opportunity given to Qualification. Before I start, Qualification is a social enterprise that uses waste materials in manufacturing of footwear and bags. We provide our customers with quality and affordable ladies and wear gents. We produce and deliver upon promise. We use recycles like waste gents, used car tires, pieces of woolen material found in furnitures and the likes for our shoes because of our business environment philosophies. Currently, when people go out to buy shoes, they are mostly made to select from pre-designs which most of the time they don't have control over it. That's why our business philosophy is all about co-creating our shoes with our customers. And before we started Coleco Wear, we asked a few questions because we wanted to go green. We wanted to do something that would be sustainable and that would help the environment to go green. So we asked some few questions like what type of materials will be unique for our shoes? Which market is Coleco Wear targeting? Will it be more eco-friendly? After all these questions were asked, we found out that entering into shoes made with recycled materials will be an opportunity for Coleco Wear to be more sustainable in the sense that we'll be addressing some of the goals in the sustainable development goals like the no poverty, good health and well-being, the climate action, decent work and economic growth. So these are the strategies that Coleco used. We selected our market clientele. Thus, we created a niche for ourselves so that we can penetrate into the market and into the international market based on our green shoes we are producing. And also, we outlined the unserved need. That's what the customers really want in terms of footwears. Also, we did our research we created our business plan. And what made us more successful that's the question you asked, was we partnered with experts like Ghana Climate Innovation Center, that's GCIC. It's a mentorship hub that incubates young startups who are into eco-friendly and creating businesses with more eco-friendly. We needed to partner with such an expert to create a circular economy to help us achieve our goal. And also, we took a risk of a giant leap. Thus, our company started by producing shoes per demand and not in large quantity, which will lock up our capital. So all these things are the things we did that made us successful. And the benefits we had in terms of financial inclusion were there are great opportunities for businesses to align its goals and green ecosystem. Coleco Wear has benefited these institutions, namely Ghana Climate Innovation Center, NPACT, SNV, and in 2018, XNV, we partnered with SNV and SNV gave us a grant, and the grant is termed as TPD. TPD, in short, a full meaning of the TPD is Technology and Development Product. They give us that grant so that we will be able to fine-tune our products, which we are going to bring into the market. And also we're able to get a grant from GCIC, that's Ghana Climate Innovation Center, which was termed as POC, Proof of Concept. With a proof of concept, what we did was we sold our business idea out to a panel of investors, and they came on board and supported us to purchase our industrial machines that we will use to make our business more sustainable and also to scale up into the international level. So all these things are the stuff that we did, that Coleco Wear did, and the partnership with it also helped us. Also, we had a grant benefit from NPACT. It's a German mentorship hub that is termed as NPACT COVID-19 Relief Program. During COVID, they came into our aid. They supported us with grants that was able to help us to rejuvenate our business to another level. And to be grateful to them, we are doing well, and even we are trying to establish a bigger space so that we can bring in more people to train them for free. Before I conclude, I say, since today is International Youth Day, I say entrepreneurship has demonstrated itself to be truly an effective weapon against unemployment and a means for the youth accessing the labor market. It has proven as well that the future prosperity, social and economic and well-being of any country depends, among other things, and on its ability to successfully and sustainably promote a dynamic entrepreneurial spirit that integrates innovation as one of its fundamental principles. Thus, we will be able to take advantage of the demographic dividend only if, as a society, we devote ourselves in rallying behind such programs like what UNDCFP are doing, what EcoBank is doing, and what other circular economy organizations are also doing. In so doing, we are supposed to listen to the youth and try to address their grievances so that together we can build a very formidable economy for our country and the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much. It was very, very inspiring. I'm sure I'll come back to you with other questions to know more about your story.
Okay.
Thank you. Now I would like to pass the floor to our last but not least speaker, Genevieve from SMB, that has been also mentioned by Peter. So we know that we saw that the supply side of financial services through financial providers such as EcoBank is important because they need to be ready with the right products that respond to the youth needs. However, on the other side, we also need the support services to build the capacity of the youth. If on one side, there is a need to put in place the risky mechanisms that we have seen earlier for financial providers to serve the youth, on the other side, we also need to build better borrowers, better young clients, able to access and fully use the services available. We have with us today Genevieve, and I would like to hear from her the work that SMB is doing to build such demand, right? What kind of support services that youth and young entrepreneurs can access, and how the work, the comprehensive work they are doing can support them to be ready for the for the job market, and also to be ready to join the financial ecosystem. Genevieve, yes, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ariana. So at SMB, we have the approach we take towards financial inclusion is basically three-pronged. We look at financial education, and then we provide the different tools, and we support the youth also with skills development so that they are able to access financial services. There are two key interventions that we provide under the Green Project. And we call the first one the Opportunities for Youth Employment. And this is a tool that has been used by SNV in different markets, and we've adapted it for the Ghanaian market. And what this tool does for us is to look at the job seeker, the youth, people who would typically be looking for job opportunities. Some of them want to create self-employment and different opportunities that can, improve on their livelihoods. And then on one hand, we have SMEs that are a bit more advanced, who need young people to work with, but who are not able to employ these young people because they do not have the skills. They are not able to meet the basic requirements for getting employed. And so we in the Opportunities for Youth Employment, we bring the youth together, and then we train them on basic skills, leadership skills, how to write a CV, how to prepare for interviews, just the basics of what it takes to enter the job market. And in addition to that, as far as financial inclusion is concerned, we support them with financial education. For a lot of young people, they do not even have bank accounts. And so we help them at that point to open a bank account. We have a savings group for them. And so we help them also to develop a habit of saving regularly. And then once that is done, we are able to either find them internship opportunities or for those, some of them even gain permanent employment. So all this is happening in the Ashanti and Western regions. And it's been an interesting model that has been used so far. For the SMEs, and these are businesses that have been operating for probably about a year, and most of them they don't have very good foundations. What we realized on the ground was that a lot of the SMEs are financially excluded, and they are not. The banks will typically, and other financial services will typically classify them as risky because they don't have the necessary foundation, the strong foundations that would make their businesses sustainable. And so we have incubation and acceleration programs that help these businesses to build the necessary solid blocks. And so we look at how do you even build, your prototype generally in trying to build your business. How do you get a necessary foundation? Getting your business plans done, validating your business idea, ensuring that you have a sustainable business model. And then we also we improve their access to funding by helping them to get the necessary documentation. So some of them don't even have the basic certifications that financial institutions would require and that the regulatory authorities would require. And so registering your business, registering with the necessary authorities for your business. And then we help them to improve their access to the market. So now, after you've worked on your products, after you've worked on your business and you've gained the necessary skills, if you increase production, how do you now improve on your market such that you are able to determine that you have actually paying customers for your service? And so we support them with access to market opportunities as well, so that they are able to expand their businesses and grow. And we believe that in doing all of these things, it helps them to come to the point where they can easily approach financial institutions. Whilst we do this, we also establish relationships with the financial institutions so that even if they don't qualify now for the financial products, they have a clear path and an idea of how they can access financial products in the future. And so some of the tools that we've provided for them, with the support of Uncdf, there's an app called OZE app. And OZE is a record-keeping app. It helps the SMEs to keep their records, helps them to do their financials. And once they do that, I think EcoBank is also partnering with OZE. So it helps the banks to have their records. And so in future, once you build the track record of regularly keeping your books, it becomes easier for any financial institution to approach you. Again, we establish relationships with diaspora investors, with crowdfunding platforms, and then too with angel investors here in Ghana. In the different districts that we work with, we have credit unions that operate and that are able to support their businesses. And so we also help them to be part of it so that they can improve on their own saving habits. And then once they do that, they are able to access funding from the credit unions. And for those of them who have been very disciplined, some of them even access funding from the banks. And even on OZE, they are able to also get loans. Uncdf has a crowdfunding platform as well called Pesesha. And some of them have accessed funding from that platform as well. So it really helps them to structure their businesses in a way that makes it easy for them to approach any financial institution. If not now, then in the future. For the businesses that are a bit more advanced, we put them in an acceleration program. And the acceleration program really just helps them to become more commercial. So again, investment readiness, helping them to develop at this time more extensive business plans, make your business projections and all that, and so that they can approach financial institutions. Because they are more advanced, it's easier for them to approach financial institutions to attract funding. So in a nutshell, that is what SNV has been doing. I'm happy to take any questions that you have.
Thank you very much, Genevieve. It's been very, very useful indeed. I believe you gave us this, let's say, the opportunity to understand how we have to work on both sides to make sure that the young people and financial institutions can actually meet and match their needs.
Yes, indeed. Because oftentimes you find that the financial institutions, they are businesses, and when you are not able to meet the requirements, the monies they have belong to other people. So you need to make sure that the monies are secured. And so for the SMEs, as much as they have a lot of needs, how do we help them to meet those needs in a way that makes it easy for them to grow their businesses, and it also becomes comfortable for the financial institutions to provide the funding?
Exactly, definitely. And I think you actually picked the right word, being comfortable to lend, because as you said, the banks are lending, of course, savers' money. So how we can make sure that we find the right balance between risk and support. And I think this is also the value added of projects like Green, where we try to work on both sides to indeed lower the risk perceived for sustainable solutions.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all speakers. I don't know if colleagues want to add anything to what they said. Otherwise, there are a few questions that I would like to share with them. I see Peter is unmuted. Do you want to add anything?
I think what I wanted to add to rate is for businesses, as Madam Genevieve said directly, we are supposed to, when you start a business, you're supposed to make sure that you keep your books clean. Like anything that goes out or in, you're supposed to keep good records. Because even when you want to go to this financial institution without a good financial records, they are not going to give you the funds. And also one observation I had, or one experience I encountered with this mentorship hub is before you are allowed in, or before they incubate you in, they would make sure that you have a little record. You have history of your business. So as startups, as business, as entrepreneurs, when we start our business, you are supposed to keep records of everything, because that is your guide. That would help you to communicate. That's your dictionary, that's your map. That would help you to communicate between you and anybody who you would like that person to help you or bring you on board. So we should always keep good books or keep good financials. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. And I believe every time I speak with partners, I always make the example, would you yourself lend money from your pocket to someone who doesn't have any books, any information, who doesn't have any credit history? And the answer is always no. So why should we expect a financial provider like EcoBank to lend from their pockets? So we need also to find the right balance between this de-risking mechanism for information asymmetry, which is one of the barriers, of course, that prevent lending. but also, as the speaker said, I believe when we speak about youth financial inclusion, we also need to go a bit beyond credit and consider the full range of financial services available. I believe Beryl gave the excellent example that what she needed was like a payment platform. Again, I believe the keywords from this discussion are youth centricity. So we need to hear and listen to youth needs in order to provide the needed services. Last but not least, again, try to orient and educate young people in the use of financial services, which do not necessarily translate with credit. I see a very interesting question from the audience that I would like to share. I think it's more for Henry, but also David, I believe. It's so someone about, so someone minor, let's say below 18, but not that young, let's say, someone who's 16, what kind of services, or can we, because at 16 you can be economically independent. So the question is, so if we are talking about youth, what kind of solutions, let's say from the provider side, and this is more for Henry, can we give to those that are not yet 18 years old, but still are fully able to transact and have maybe a business? I'll start from this, and maybe the other half of the question is more for David. How do you see, let's say, the work of development partners like Uncdf in facilitating maybe the regulatory framework and allow young people like 16 years old to still access financial services?
Okay, thank you, Arena, for that question. And let me say that for someone who is 16 years, most of the time the limitation comes from the regulator for that person to have an account owned by himself or herself. So what we do, like I mentioned with our RISE, with that one, it's targeted towards more like the teens. And a parent would have to open that account on behalf of the teenager to be able to access it, just because of the restrictions we have with the regulator. And we wouldn't want to do anything that will go against and our license being threatened at the end of the day. So the best option is that a parent will open that account on behalf of that teenager, and the teenager can actually use that account for whatever purpose he or she wants to use it for.
Thank you, Harry. Indeed, the regulation, I mean, is something that can put barriers that go beyond the control of a financial provider. And this is where I believe development partners can have a say, right? Working with government and central bank. David, what's your view on this?
Yes, exactly. As Henry mentioned, it's all about regulation and what type of risk the regulator is able to take to onboard people that are independent, that don't want their parents or anybody else to know what they are doing, because they need some kind of autonomy and privacy about how they manage their money, and we can easily understand that. So as you mentioned, the role of Uncdf here is to engage with regulators to see where we can adapt financial services and regulation to make sure that this person can have access to an account and manages it as he wants. And I don't have example in mind right now, but I'm pretty sure in some countries, some people below 18 can have access to an account but they will have some type of limitation in the type of services they can use. Maybe they will not have access to credit, but they can save, they can do transaction with privacy. So as you say, and as Mary said, it's all about regulation, and Uncdf can support the government and the central bank to adapt regulation.
Thank you very much. And I believe we have indeed examples of central bank and government supported through sandbox programs, where, let's say, we support like a small pilot looking at the younger generation to assess all the risk, of course, that this can entail, and then if working, they can scale it up to the national level. I believe one successful example is from Rwanda, if I'm not wrong, where younger population age 16 can also have a bank account. Thank you for your contribution. I see other questions, maybe on the effects of the pandemic, how the pandemic has affected the youth finance sector. Maybe Harry, do you want to take this with a few examples, or given that EcoBank is investing a lot in digital, that indeed has helped during isolation period?
Okay. All right. So thank you, Arina, for the question from the audience. So like I mentioned, that the COVID-19 pandemic actually made us, we're doing that with regards to how the approach we use in engaging our customers in providing financial services. And then we actually switched strictly to digital. And COVID-19, because we were prepared already for that, it actually just came in at a time that we were actually promoting our digital agenda. And that has helped us with accountability. Like I mentioned, where you don't have to come to a banking hall to open an account, where you don't have to come to a banking hall to request for certain services because of these digital platforms that we've made available. And for the young person or for the young entrepreneur, being able to open an account online. Today, you can open an account online by submitting a document at the comfort of your home, just scanning the document through a platform, and then the account will get open for you. You get a relationship officer or manager calling you to verify certain details wherever you are. Once you have the document, this account will be open for you. So for us, we're already prepared as a bank to go strictly digital and to provide more self-service to our clients, especially young people. And that is what we are doing. And in a way, I believe strongly that we've been able to help young people to be able to achieve whatever objective they want to achieve. And let me also add that for the young entrepreneur, with the availability of what we call the merchant QRA, or what we call the GHQRA, like as a country, what we call the GHQRA, we're able to accept payments. If you're a young entrepreneur, people do not have to come to your place to make cash payments. You can just send them a QRA through WhatsApp or whatever platform are convenient for you, and they can make payments for these goods and services wherever you are. So we have really gone digital and supported young businesses in that regard, even in this COVID era, I must say.
Thank you very much, Harry. And there is also another follow-up question on that, whether you see any differences with the rural areas of the Green Project that you have started to learn, let's say.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Arina. As for this, I know you would join me to answer this. But with the experiences we've had, this is like the name said, green, and indeed they are green areas for us. For this year, we didn't have that plan to actually go to these rural areas, and it's exciting to go there and see open accounts, establish express points. Let me say this: express points are agent points that are scattered all over the country to provide basic financial service. Over 2,000 of them currently in the country that are serving communities. And to be able to establish an express point to get people to come to save, I think it's exciting. And like I said earlier, we are happy about this partnership to be able to go to such remote areas where people do not have a bank account and people are just excited to have their first bank account. And beyond that, which is very critical, it's just about opening the account. But beyond that, the savings habit that people have developed. Hitherto, they would have kept their money in somewhere under their beds or somewhere in a little box. But today, you look at numbers coming in from our express point, and it's exciting to see how people are consistently saving. Young people are consistently saving. And so I'm happy about this market opportunity that has been identified. Beyond the green projects, it's something that we would continue to chase and make sure that we go to very remote areas to provide our innovative express account and other digital offerings that are available for them.
Thank you very much, Harry. I believe it's also a good opportunity indeed to explore areas where there is no offering, so you can really make the difference there. I thank you very much. I see another question for Genevieve. Do you look at qualification level before taking on youth for incubation?
So not educational qualifications. We look more for the business that the youth have. And so you have to be youth, first of all, so between 18 to 35 years. For women, we extend it a bit to 40 years because we are a bit biased towards women. We want to focus a lot more on women-led businesses. And then you have to be in one of our three sectors. We have agriculture, renewable energy, or water, sanitation, hygiene, wash. So once you fall within any of these three sectors and your business needs to have a minimum of a working prototype, you must have been running for about a year. Once you meet any of these qualifications, we bring you into the incubation program.
Thank you. Very, very clear. Another question is for our youth ambassadors present today, Beryl and Peter. What, in your opinion, after this discussion, is there any other value-added services that you see as priority for you as young person and young entrepreneurs, but you don't find available in the market?
I think on my bit, I think the market is getting there in terms of how fluid or how seamless we can make financial transactions. Especially at the level of what's it called? At the level of a business. Now, my thinking is also that we can look at support with financing, so I'll give you an example. In our space, what keeps happening is that a business or a multinational business, for example, a client can give you a PO or a payment order or an order, right? So for a certain volume of business that you may not necessarily be equipped with to finance yet. And so I think that there's some work to do in terms of making a situation like that a seamless situation for a business owner who has a request like that and who need that support. I think in a space like here, that's a bit it's very client facing. You have to be in person, make those kind of what's it called? You have to. That transaction is very physical, So we see how it's possible for something like that to be a seamless transaction, so that once that payment order has come in and stuff like that, you're able to access support, very easily. I think that will also be something that we would love to see happen. you know. But I'm positive because I see that, I mean, the volume, the rate of change is so high, so fast. You know, it's like, you know, today, I mean, you have this challenge and tomorrow the challenge is solved, because I think we are going very quickly into a fully digital space. And so I'm not too worried. I'm sure that in a very short time, that's something that will, you know, be fixed. Yeah.
Thank you. But I think it's still very interesting to hear from you, from the youth, on the real needs that are there and needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
Peter, would you like to add anything to what Barry said? What are, in your opinion, the value-added services that you will need for you as a young person and as a business owner to succeed?
Thank you, Adrian. Mine has to do with exporting of, since we are into production of tangible goods. Product. Mine had to do with it because, hear me? Hello?
I think we lost you for a few seconds.
Yeah.
If you can repeat, please.
Yeah.
So the audience can answer.
Yeah. Mine has to do with exporting of products to other countries. That's the challenges currently we are facing, because most of the time customers from outside Ghana imagine they purchase a product and the cost of even transporting or mailing the products to the person is more expensive than the product they are buying themselves. So it's buying from us, but they still, the transportation is much. Obviously, we will address this transportation, like exporting products, like small products from Ghana to a place like maybe Nigeria, and see the way forward. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Peter. I see another question. I know we are about to close, but I think it's very interesting if we take a youth perspective. Someone is asking about skills and how we can build the skills of the youth in using bank accounts against financial scams or fraud. I think this can be maybe for Henry, while we know that EcoBank is investing a lot in digital, how we can also ensure that your targeted clients, youth clients, can be fully empowered to use these products in a secure manner.
Okay, thank you very much. In my earlier submission, I made mention of projects that we have, like what we call the Digi Clinic. The Digi Clinic are workshops that we run for young people, just to sensitize them on some of these scams and fraud going all over in the finance space. And ambassadors that I mentioned earlier are well trained to, provide this knowledge as they engage with young people. Again, what we also seek to do, which by the end of this year should be fully done to our head, the head of direct banking, is to actually have a dedicated website for young people to go and learn some of these things, to take some of these short courses just to train them and to equip them to best, stay away from these fraudulent things. And by the end of this year, that should be available. But what we are doing right now, what currently we have, is using the young ambassadors and the Digi Clinics, which I urge everybody to look out for once we post them on our social media platform, so that you can sign up to it and then benefit from this. Again, last but not the least, we also use the push notifications through email and SMS to also sensitize our customers on these scams and frauds that are all over the place. So, Arana, that's what I have to say to answer the question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Harry. I think it's very important because, as we said, I mean, availability of services is not enough if it's not well understood by the targeted clients. I think there is one last question, I believe more for David on development partners. What kind of de-risking tools is Uncdf offering to allow FSPs in serving new segments?
Thank you, Ariana. So basically, we have three kinds of tools we use to allow financial service provider to serve new areas. The first one is grant, which is the one we are using in Ghana with EcoBank. So we provide money to a financial service provider, so he will have time and resources to develop new services and cover the cost of investment before he can get his money back from this service he develops. And the two other tools we can use are loans. We can provide loans to private companies, again, for them to be able to develop new services or to be able so it got. I don't know if you hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay, back to you.
Thank you very much. I lost you for a few seconds. Maybe what I would like also for you to share in the few minutes that we have left, if you maybe can share the experience of Uncdf in working with financial providers and, let's say, convincing them of the business case out there, because what we see sometimes is the difficulty in let's say, having them ready to test new approaches while to prove the longer benefits that they will have. So let's say the initial investments to be made in order to prove the business case at the later stage.
Yes, it might be difficult for financial institutions, especially if they are not big enough to cover an investment or to take time to invest in new segments, to take that risk. So as I mentioned, there are financial tools we can use, but also technical assistance to, how to say, take their hand and do the journey with them. So if we take the example of Guinea, we've been involved with our partners on the field to do the study to better understand the young entrepreneurs, so that financial partner can take time to understand their business and see, as I think Genevieve mentioned before, that if they get the right information from the entrepreneurs, it will be much less risky to invest in them. And if we create this link between entrepreneurs and the financial service provider, it also de-risks a lot, and it becomes profitable for the financial partner. So all this ongoing education, it's financial education for financial partner, let's say.
Yes, indeed. Okay, I think we are about to close. It's 2:30 GMT. If the speakers do not have any other comments, I would like to thank everyone, all the participants, all the speakers. It's been a pleasure to host this webinar. I would like to thank EcoBank for the initiative on this International Youth Day. Maybe as closing, I would like for Beryl and Peter as our youth ambassadors today to close with a call to action for the International Youth Day. If you agree, what would you recommend to the participants to this webinar?
Okay, again.
Okay,
I think
okay, you go
first. Go first.
All right. So I think that there's a lot of commentary around, the African continent. There's a lot of attention on the African continent. In the past, I think that we would have, let's say, suffered from a situation of lack of information and everything. But today, because of the internet, everything is available, and all the services, like, for example, we're talking now, and I mean, if you wanted to know a lot about anything we're talking about, you just needed to go say on social media or on the websites and stuff like that. Information is truly available to us in the most profound way possible. And therefore, I always say to my people, everything is possible. So, I mean, I feel like we should take ourselves out of this idea that everything is difficult, or, I mean, all the impediments that are in front of us, and rather focus on what is possible and what we can do with the little that we have, in hand. All these resources are available to us, and we can make a change, no matter how small, whether as a business, in our communities, in our families, in any way possible. All these resources are here for us, and therefore we should just take it up and make it happen. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you, Peter. Anything?
Okay, what I would add to what Belle said was, I would advise the youth, or I would tell the youth that we are the future leaders of our countries, and we should rally behind our leaders. We should take everything in our own hands. We should try and think innovation. We should be more creative enough to bring something new into the country, into the world, so that together we can make the world proud. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to let Henry close this webinar. And on behalf of Uncdf, I would like to thank again everyone here, and especially EcoBank for organizing this webinar. Henry, would you like to say a few words?
Okay, thank you very much, Raina, for the support. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone who is here on this webinar, and then most importantly, UNCDF for partnering with EcoBank for this initiative, and also the entire direct banking team in EcoBank Ghana Limited, led by William Danso Abiam, for helping us also put this together. I'd like to say this to everyone here gathered, about the young people who are here. Let me say this, that when they sit, we should stand. When they stand, we should stand tall. When they stand tall, we should be outstanding. And when they become outstanding, we must be the standard. Thank you very much, and have a blessed International Youth Day today. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Happy International Youth Day. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.